Hey everybody, Hunter, Fisher, Trapper, Trader, Guide, Scout, and Interpreter, and just a country cook. Steve Hall here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Today we're going to make pickled bologna. Now, we've already made pickled hot dogs, and we'll show you that recipe at the end, and that one includes Frank's hot sauce. But this time we're going to change the hot sauce to Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper sauce that you can find in the international section of the grocery store. And there's a definite difference not only between the recipes, but hot dogs and bologna are manufactured different, not only in casing sizes, but they put more garlic and some other spices in bologna. So the flavors are completely different. This recipe, which we'll show you at the end, we mentioned, only has a half a cup of sugar in it and almost a full cup of this stuff. This is going to have about a tablespoon of this hot sauce and a full cup of sugar. But I'll get into the recipe. I kind of shot it earlier and already did it because I wanted to taste them first. So I've already got it done. So I'm going to narrate it and show you all the ingredients that go in. Don't worry about it. All those ingredients and how you make it will be in the description box below the video. But let's get started and see how we make pickled bologna. You're going to love it. All right, let's get started with this recipe here. First of all, I'm showing you these hot dogs from the previous recipe, which, includes Frank's red hot sauce. I think just about everybody does that on the internet that makes pickled hot dogs. Well, I wanted something different with this pickled bologna, so I'm using Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, which I used in some jerk chicken in a previous recipe. It's delicious. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. First of all, we're going to put in 4 cups of vinegar in here, just regular white vinegar. And we're going to put in 1 cup of sugar, just regular white granulated sugar. Put that in there. We're going to stir this up and see if we can't get it dissolved a little bit for you. And then I'm going to put in a tablespoon of pickling spice. Now, everybody asks me, what's in pickling spice? It's got cloves, it's got cinnamon, it's got all kinds of goodies in there, including red pepper flakes. But just buy a can of pickling spice at the store and dump in a tablespoon. It'll be perfect. And I'm actually adding an extra teaspoon of red pepper flakes right here because I like to kind of watch them wash around in the jar and they kick it up a notch. And we're also putting in a tablespoon of minced garlic right here. Now it's time for the hot sauce. Now I've tried this recipe with a half a teaspoon of hot sauce in here, that pepper sauce, that Scotch bonnet, and I've tried it with a teaspoon with the 4 cups of vinegar. And I'm going with a tablespoon in this particular recipe that you're watching on the video right here because it's so good, flavorful, but it's not overly hot. That's the thing. You can put a little on your finger, it'll burn you up, but if you cook with it, it has more flavor than heat. It's kind of funny, but it's a great product. Time for about a half a teaspoon of salt in here and a teaspoon of cumin. And don't worry, if I'm going too fast for you, I'm going to put all the ingredients in the description box below the video. You'll just be able to go down there and click on show more and you'll be in good shape. And let's see what we're going to do next here. Oh yeah, I want to show you this jar. I usually go and buy this big round chubs of bologna and then I slice it off about 1.5 inches thick and cube it up and put it in a jar, and there it is. That's how I did one batch with some toothpicks you can put in there. They make great hors d'oeuvres. And then here's some onions that I just took some of the extra vinegar and just poured it and just made straight pickled onions. And that's kind of flavorful too. You can also chuck in some hard-boiled eggs and make hard-boiled eggs and onions and all the above. Now in this brine that I'm making, I tried something one time and I threw in a few of the onions because you normally pack them raw, raw onions, bologna, raw onions, bologna on the way up through the jar. But you'll notice that I'm just throwing a few of those right in the brine. And if you'll simmer that for about 3 or 4 minutes with them onions in there, they just become translucent. They're almost like transparent, like you can see right through them. They're really unique and they're very different. And but just give that a try. We're going to simmer this up, and I think it's about time to pack some of these jars up here a little bit. Let's see if we can't get this going. All right, Steve, put them jars up there and pack the bologna in there. Oh, yeah, we got to cut the bologna first. Now, see, this is the other bologna that I found in the store at Kroger's, and it's called cracker bologna. Now, you can slice it any thickness that you want. I like it about 1/4 inch thick, so it'll fit great on a cracker. And a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, use regular bologna, and they just cut a big X, and they use all them little triangles in the jar. But it's not thick enough for me. I like a little more meaty bite to it on top of crackers. So if you'll buy one of them little tubes of what's called cracker bologna. It's not made of crackers, obviously. It's just made for crackers to sit on top of saltine or Ritz or whatever. You can put those in the jar, and they just pickle up nice because it really gets on both sides of it. Now here's where I kind of goofed up. I'm putting the raw onions in the jar, but over to the right there you can see them ones that I threw in the cooker. I should have put those in first because they're like crystal clear looking, and didn't have room for them at the end of the recipe, but I'll do it next time. But you go, of course, onions and bologna all the way up. Cool your brine down so it's not super hot, but you do want to dump it in there while it is hot. But once you get these packed to the top, don't mash it so hard that you smash the bologna, but I fill them up pretty good. I leave about 1 inch of headspace at the top of the jars there. Time for our brine. We'll pour our brine in, and you can see them yummy onions, them clear ones that are in that container right there. I should have used those, but we're going to throw some lids on top of these two, and the first thing you'll notice I do when I get them snugged up, while they're still hot, is I turn them upside down, and that's how I store them in the refrigerator. Because there's nothing worse than doing all this, waiting 3 days to open it up, and you open it up and the top half of inch of it didn't get any brine on it. So if you turn it upside down, when you turn it all over, it'll be nice and brined and good and tasty and all that stuff. And then when you turn it back over, right side up, and as you eat down, the bottom part will then get brine on it as well. I hope all that made sense, but there is the two different products that we have. The recipe on the right, I'll show you that at the end of the video, and the recipe on the left there, that's that new pickled bologna. The one on the right has a 1/2 cup of sugar and Frank's hot sauce, and the one on the left has a full cup of sugar and Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. You got to give them both a try because they're just very unique and very different, and I kind of like the bologna a little bit more, but I really like them both, to tell you the truth. There you have it, pickled bologna. It's absolutely delicious, especially if the Packers are winning. Over here we got the hot dogs and the Frank's hot sauce. Over here we have the bologna and the Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. This recipe, 1/2 cup of sugar. This recipe, a whole cup of sugar. They're completely different flavors. You got to try them both, and I really hope you enjoyed this recipe today. Over here, you'll see little Shotgun Red's face pop up in just a minute. We hope you click on that and subscribe to the channel. Over here, I'm going to put this hot dog recipe. It'll be popping up right here so you can try the both of them. But is this the best pickled bologna you ever ate? If it ain't, it ought to be. Right, Sheila? Right. Now, here's the difference. Sheila won't eat hot dogs because she don't even like a hot dog in a bun or like a bratwurst or whatever. She just doesn't care. Maybe for the casings and stuff. But she likes fried bologna for breakfast because she's from the South. So she might try this pickled bologna. Might get it by her this time. We'll see what happens. We'll see you next time right here on Cooking with Shotgun Red. Give it a try. Bye-bye.